Beneath the moonlight, shadows stretch long across the forest floor. Each step is deliberate, soft against the damp earth as the figure approaches the glowing heart of the woods. The Nyoka tree stands tall, its leaves shimmering like captured starlight. The air is thick, the kind that clings to the skin and breathes secrets into the ears of those who dare to enter. The memory of an elder's voice lingers like a ghost, soft yet weighted with urgency. "Speak these words," the voice commands in Ajani's mind. The incantation is ancient, its syllables twisting his tongue like vines around a tree. He whispers them now, not out of belief, but desperation. His brother's fading eyes, the cough, that rattled with each breath. It is for him, always for him. A talisman dangles from Ajani's neck, its charm worn smooth from years of prayer. His grip tightens around it as his lips form a silent promise. "I will save you." The forest presses in, its darkness heavy, but the light of the Nyoka tree pierces through like a beacon. A rustle interrupts the silence, faint but unmistakable. His head jerks to the side, heart pounding. Are those eyes in the shadows? Watching, judging, whispering. The leaves above seem to tremble, though no wind stirs them. He swallows hard and presses on, refusing to let fear break his stride. The Nyoka tree looms before him now, taller than any he has seen, its roots sprawling like serpents across the ground. Its glow pulses, a heartbeat in the dark, and the air hums with energy. There is power here, but it is not kind. His fingers tremble as they hover over the closest leaf, its veins glowing faintly, alive with something ancient. The elder's warning echoes in his thoughts, a reminder of the price. What you take, you must give. But his brother's face pushes through the noise, his pale skin and fragile breath pleading silently. A deep voice cuts through the forest, like a blade. "You cannot take what belongs to the spirits." The words boom from everywhere and nowhere, vibrating in his chest. He freezes, his breath caught, but his resolve hardens. With a final breath, Ajani pushes aside the voice. His hand darts forward, gripping the leaf and tearing it free. The glow dims for a moment before flaring again, brighter, harsher, angry. The ground beneath him shakes violently, a tremor that threatens to topple him. The wind rises, whipping through the trees, carrying a howl that chills him to the bone. Shadows twist and shift, alive with fury. He runs. The leaf is clutched tightly in his hand, its glow barely peeking through his fingers. The forest is alive now, branches clawing at him, roots rising to trip him. The whispers grow louder, a cacophony of accusations, curses, and warnings, but he does not stop. His heart pounds, his legs burn, and still he runs. Behind him, the glow of the Nyoka tree fades into the distance, but its wrath follows. Morning comes slowly, casting warm light over the village. The marketplace stirs to life with vibrant colors and busy hands, but something feels wrong. The usual laughter and chatter have dimmed, replaced by whispers that drift like smoke through the air. People glance over their shoulders, their voices low as they speak of shadows in the forest and the glow of forbidden leaves. Near the central fire, elders sit in a circle, their faces heavy with the weight of the past. "The Nyoka tree watches," one says, his tone grave. "It does not forget those who break its laws." Another nods, adding, "The last time its wrath was stirred, the ground split open, and the forest devoured what it could." Their words hang in the air like a storm cloud, and those who overhear shuffle closer to listen, their unease growing. Walking the narrow paths between homes, a man keeps his head low, His steps are measured, but the eyes that follow him are sharp, filled with suspicion. He once strode through these same streets with pride, carrying the spoils of his hunts, his name spoken with respect. Now murmurs trail behind him like an unwelcome shadow. He dared to touch what is sacred, someone whispers. The spirits will punish us all because of him. As he passes a cluster of children playing near a well, one calls out to him, but the others pull her back, shaking their heads. He says nothing, his shoulders stiff as he walks on. His thoughts drift to another time. Laughter rings in his memory, the sound of a boy running through the forest, daring him to catch up. "You'll never be as fast as me," the boy would tease. The warmth of that bond lingers, though the laughter is now replaced by shallow breaths and frail hands that reach for help. Preparations begin for the Festival of Spirits, a ritual meant to protect the village. The scent of herbs fills the air as women grind them into powders, and men carve intricate patterns into wooden masks. Offerings pile high at the base of a sacred altar, each item a plea for safety. The people cling to these traditions as a shield, though their glances toward the forest reveal their fear. But fear alone cannot keep the shadows at bay. The crops, once green and thriving, begin to wither, their leaves curling as if scorched. Goats lie motionless in their pens, their breath gone without reason. Outside homes, strange symbols appear overnight, scratched into the wood with an unseen hand. A cry pierces the air, raw and heart-wrenching. A mother holds her child, limp in her arms, as neighbors gather around. "The spirits have taken her," she screams. "Why? What have we done to deserve this?" Her grief is a wound that cuts through the hearts of all who hear it, and the whispers in the marketplace grow louder. The man feels the weight of their stares before they even reach him. A group surrounds him, their voices sharp. "You were seen near the forest," one accuses. "What did you take from the Nyoka Tree?" Another steps closer, their anger rising. "You have brought this curse upon us. Do you deny it?" He meets their eyes but says nothing. Inside, guilt and resolve wrestle for control. He knows what he did, but he also knows why. The crowd quiets as the shaman steps forward, her presence commanding even in silence. Her gaze sweeps over the gathered villagers, her expression unreadable. "The spirits are restless," she says, her voice low but firm. "Balance has been disturbed. A price must be paid." She turns to the man, her eyes piercing. "You must decide," she murmurs, "what you are willing to give." He looks past her toward the forest where the Nyoka Tree waits. His fists clench, and he takes a deep breath. "I will fix this," he says quietly, more to himself than anyone else. The crowd watches as he turns away, their whispers following, him like echoes of doubt. In his heart, he knows there is only one path forward. Whatever the cost, he must protect his brother and restore the balance that has been broken. Tunde stirs, his breath steady for the first time in days. His eyes flutter open, meeting his brother's, and a faint smile stretches across his lips. Strength returns to his frail body, a recovery so sudden it feels like magic. Whispers spread through the village, first in hushed tones, then louder. "They say he took a leaf from the Nyoka Tree," someone murmurs near the well. "The spirits won't let this go unanswered." Across the village, tension rises as shadows creep into the corners of every home. The first sign comes with the flames, sudden and relentless, devouring the forest's edge. The villagers gather, staring in disbelief as the wildfire rages. Where is this coming from? The spirits are angry. By morning, another shock ripples through the community. 2 hunters have vanished without a trace, their footprints leading towards the cursed woods and stopping abruptly. "The Nyoka Tree has awakened," the elders declare, summoning the villagers to the center of the marketplace. Eyes turn toward One man as the elders speak with heavy voices. You brought this upon us. You defied the god's will and disturbed the balance. I did what I had to do, comes the reply, steady and unyielding. My brother lives because of it. You have doomed us all. Will you confess your sin, or must we force the truth from you? He looks around, meeting their stares, defiance burning in his eyes. I will not confess to saving my brothers. Life, a voice calls out from the crowd, soft but firm. He isn't the only one to blame. If the Nyoka Tree cursed us, perhaps it holds the answer too. She steps forward, her expression calm yet determined. Let me help you. Together we can find out what the spirits demand. Their journey begins before the sun sets. The forest is darker than before, as though the shadows have grown deeper. The air grows heavier the closer they get to the tree, but they press on, driven by a shared resolve. They reach a small clearing where an old man waits beside a fire. His gaze pierces. Through the gloom, his voice crackling like the flames. You've come to ask what you already know, he says. The Nyoka Tree does not give without taking. What did you expect? The answer sits heavy between them, but something in his words feels off. They exchange glances, suspicion growing. Later, that night, as the fire dims and sleep takes hold, hushed voices cut through the silence. He doesn't know the truth. He's just guessing, she whispers. The chief will reward you if this works, another voice responds. The betrayal snaps into place like a lock turning. He rises silently, his anger seething just beneath his calm exterior. You've been lying this whole time, he says, his voice low but sharp. She steps back, startled, but doesn't deny it. I had no choice. My family, your family, and what about mine? My brother would have died. Her silence answers him, and the rift between them grows wider. By dawn, they face the shaman. Again, he speaks slowly, his words dripping with ancient wisdom. The Nyoka Tree is not just a tree. It is a test. It watches the greedy and the unworthy. Those who take must pay, and the price is always steep. The weight of the shaman's words settles over him. The whispers of the villagers, the wrath of the spirits, the lives already lost. It will not stop until the balance is restored. What must I give? The shaman's gaze is unyielding. Only you can decide. The spirits demand a sacrifice. What are you willing to lose? Ajani stands at the edge of the forest, the leaf clenched tightly in his hand. The trees sway without wind, and the air feels heavier with each step he takes. He pushes forward, the glow of the Nyoka Tree cutting through the shadows. The forest feels alive, watching him, waiting for him. A low hum grows around him, rising into whispers. Words blend and overlap, hissing through the branches. A life for a life, they murmur. The voices grow louder, filling his ears. The balance is broken. What will you give? The glow of the Nyoka Tree grows stronger as Ajani steps closer. Its leaves shimmer like captured stars, their light pulsing as if in anger. He drops to his knees, holding the leaf aloft. I've come to end this, he says, his voice steady. Behind him, the sound of hurried steps breaks the tension. The villagers arrive, led by Kofi. You think you can bargain with the spirits after what you've done? Kofi's voice booms through the clearing. This is your fault. You brought this curse upon us. Others murmur in agreement, their fear turning to anger. Some step forward, glaring at Ajani, but others hesitate, their eyes flickering between Kofi and Ajani, doubt creeping into their expressions. Why now, Chief? Someone asks. Why didn't you act sooner if you knew this would happen? Before Kofi can respond, the forest comes alive. Glowing eyes pierce the darkness, dozens of them watching from the trees. Shadows twist and stretch, forming monstrous shapes that seem to crawl towards the villagers. A chilling roar echoes, sending the group into chaos. Screams ring out as the villagers scatter, their fear overwhelming them. Ajani rises, his instincts taking over. "Stay together," he shouts. "Don't let them separate us." He grabs a branch from the ground and swings it at a shadow, the impact breaking its form. The villagers regroup, rallying around him. "Use fire. The spirits fear light," he calls. They light torches, the flames pushing back the encroaching darkness. Ajani leads the charge, his movements swift and calculated, his hunting skills turning fear into strategy. As the battle rages, a villager's cry cuts through the noise. "The chief! He's running!" All eyes turn to see Isikofi stumbling back towards the edge of the forest, his face pale. Ajani follows, catching up to him as he trips over a root. "Why are you running, chief? What are you afraid of?" Isikofi stammers, his hands trembling. I didn't mean for this to happen." "What didn't you mean, chief?" Ajani steps closer, his voice low. "What did you do?" The villagers gather, their torches lighting Isikofi's face. "He's hiding something," one says. Under the weight of their stares, Isikofi crumbles. "I plucked a leaf," he shouts. "Years ago I plucked a leaf, but I put it back. I thought it would stop the curse." The air grows still, the spirits, whispers turning to silence. Ajani steps back, his jaw tight. "You knew what this tree demanded and you blamed me." The villagers turn on Isikofi, their anger boiling over. But before they can act, the glow of the Nyoka tree intensifies. The shadows retreat and a single voice, deep and resonant, fills the air. This was a test. The villagers freeze, there, eyes wide as the voice continues. The illness was not a curse. It was a test of love and fear. One acted out of greed, the other out of love. The balance will now be restored. The light from the Nyoka tree engulfs Isikofi. He cries out, his form fading into the glow. The villagers shield their eyes, and when the light dims, only silence remains. The forest breathes again, its shadows returning to stillness. The Nyoka tree glows softly, its wrath replaced with calm. The villagers look at Ajani, their expressions shifting from suspicion to gratitude. "You saved us," someone whispers. Ajani steps back, his eyes on the tree. "No, the balance saved us." As the first rays of dawn break through the trees, the villagers begin their walk back to the village, their steps lighter than before. The Nyoka tree stands behind them, its glow a quiet reminder of the fragile balance between humanity and the spirits. Ajani kneels before the Nyoka tree, his head bowed, the leaf resting in his outstretched hand. His voice is steady, though the weight of his words shakes his spirit. "I offer myself to restore the balance. Take me and let the village be free." The forest falls silent, the shadows frozen as if holding their breath. The glow of the Nyoka tree intensifies, bathing Ajani in light. The whispers return, rising into a chorus that swirls around him. "A life for a life," they repeat, their tone neither cruel nor kind. Ajani remains still, ready for whatever comes. The whispers shift suddenly, their focus moving away from him. The light of the Nyoka tree flares, illuminating the clearing. The voices grow deeper, more resonant. "Not him," they declare. "The true death lies elsewhere." The villagers watch in stunned silence as the light turns toward Isikofi. The chief steps back, his face pale. "No, I didn't. It wasn't supposed to." His words falter as the tree's glow surrounds him. Isikofi drops to his knees, his cries drowned by the voices. "You took without need. You deceived your people. Balance must be restored." The light engulfs him, swirling with shadows as the Nyoka tree claims its due. When the light fades, Isikofi is gone. The forest breathes deeply, its shadows receding. The air clears, the oppressive weight lifting from the villagers' chests. The dark symbols vanish from doorways, and the faint hum of the Nyoka tree grows soft, peaceful. The villagers stand in awe as the tree's leaves glimmer gently, their light warm and inviting. The curse is broken. The balance is restored. Eyes turn toward Ajani, no longer filled with suspicion, but with gratitude. One by one, the villagers step forward, their voices humble. You saved us. We were wrong to doubt you. Thank you. The elders approach, their expressions heavy with respect. You have shown courage, wisdom, and love for your people. It is only right that you lead us now. They place their hands on Ajani's shoulders, naming him chief. Tunde steps forward, his face no longer pale, his strength fully returned. You risked everything for me, he says softly. I will honor you by dedicating my life to healing others. Just as you saved me, the village begins to heal, its spirit renewed. Crops sprout with new life, their green vibrant against the soil. The air hums with joy as the people celebrate their survival, their unity, and their newfound hope. The Nyoka tree stands quietly in the distance, its glow a gentle reminder of the balance that must always be kept. At the village fire, the elders gather the children, their voices rising above the crackling flames. They tell the story of Ajani, the hunter who defied fear and chose love. Remember, they say, the Nyoka tree sees the truth in all hearts. Always act with respect, with balance, and with love. The children listen intently, their eyes wide with wonder. Above them the stars shine brightly, but none glow as softly as the leaves of the Nyoka tree. Under the glow of the moon, the children gather in a circle, their eager faces lit by the fire's soft light. Ajani sits among them, his hair streaked with silver, his posture steady and calm. The village elder, now a symbol of wisdom and resilience, rests his hands on his knees, watching their curious expressions. Let me tell you a story, he begins, his voice rich and steady. The children lean closer, their eyes wide. A story about courage, sacrifice, and the balance of the spirits. His gaze drifts to the Nyoka tree in the distance, its soft glow visible even now. Long ago, I defied the sacred laws to save my brother. I thought only of love, but in doing so, I disturbed the balance that protects us all. The spirits were angered, and the curse they unleashed touched every corner of this village. The fire crackles, and the children sit in rapt silence. He continues, I was given a choice, to accept my fate or run from it. I chose to face it, not for myself, but for all of you, and for the land we call home. He pauses, letting the weight of his words settle before speaking again. But there was another, a man driven by greed and fear. Easy Kofi, our chief, thought he could take what was sacred without consequence. He hid his guilt and blamed others, but the spirits see all. His greed brought ruin, and his betrayal was his undoing. A child whispers, what happened to him? Ajani's gaze hardens slightly. The spirits took him. They demanded balance, and he became the price. He softens, his tone shifting to one of reflection. The land is sacred, and so are its rules. The spirits watch over us, but they do not forgive carelessness. We must live in harmony with what is given, never taking more than we need. The children murmur among themselves, nodding at his words. One of them speaks, their voice, small but determined. We will protect the village. We won't forget. Ajani smiles, pride gleaming in his eyes. Good. The Nyoka tree is a reminder. Its glow is not just light, it is a warning and a promise. When we live with respect, the land thrives. When we take too much, the balance breaks. The fire dims slightly as the wind whispers through the trees. The Nyoka Tree glows faintly in the distance, a quiet presence that seems to watch over them. Ajani looks at the children once more, his voice steady but gentle. Remember, true strength is not in taking but in giving. Love, courage, and respect. For the unseen, these are what keep us whole. Let this story guide you, and let it be told for generations. As the night deepens, the children disperse, their hearts carrying the lesson. Ajani stays by the fire, his eyes on the Nyoka Tree, knowing its light will forever guard the village and its people. A new dawn approaches, and with it, the promise of a balanced future.